Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of this course. In the last videos we discussed about importance of design principles and some of the very important design principles and how you can incorporate those design principles when you are developing any e-content. In the follow-up videos I am going to discuss some of the technologies which are important for an e-content designer or e-content developer. Before that, we also need to know that what kind of skills we are expecting from our next generation or from this generation. So, if you go to P2org, so you will find that there are 4 important skills which we are looking from our learners. First is creativity and innovation. Second, critical thinking and problem solving, because now and in the near future we are going to face a lot of complex problems related to health, social, internet security, and we need our learners to be critical thinkers and problem solvers to solve these complex ill structured problems. Third very important is communication skill. Suppose the learners are working in a team, so there should be a good communication to develop and to solve a complex problem. Fourth and very important as it is collaboration. So, if the learners are working together, so that should be a collaborative learning process we can develop. So, these are the 4 important skills, and I believe that when we are using some technologies, so these kind of skills can also be integrated using this using the technology in e-learning. Now, what are the present challenges we are facing in the e-content or or I can say in the teaching learning process, especially in the online learning. The first is that we need to see the learning content which we are providing, is it meaningful, is it fulfilling the demand of the industry, that is very important. Second thing is that whether the teaching learning process is being enjoyed by the learners, whether it is joyful for the learners, how we are approaching the learners. Third very important is the interactive in nature, whether this interaction mean to say whether the interaction among the learner and the instructor in online process, whether if you are using some kind of technology, is there any kind of interaction between the system and the learner. Fourth and very important is that the whole content or whole teaching learning process as online, whether it is effective, whether the skills which we have discussed in the previous slide are being inculcated by using this kind of content or teaching learning process. So, these are the 4 important challenges especially we are facing in the online course, or even you can say that blended courses. In my view, I feel like these are the 3 important tools which the e-content designers should have the knowledge. First, about the authoring tools. Now, authoring tools is helping the e-content designer or instructional designer to integrate different types of media together to create interactive content. So, there are many examples. I can give one example, that is Adaptive, that is one example. Next very important is video tools. Now, you need to understand that video tools are very important in online learning or e-learning, or even the in the mixed version, that is the blended learning, because you need to upload your video with the course content, and then also you need to have some kind of screencast, or if you want to show some kind of simulation using your desktop screen or mobile screen. So, these are the important tools that you should be very familiar. The third very important is interactive content tools. Now, interactive content tools means, suppose you are designing some kind of assessment using game based learning. So, for that what kind of tools you are going to use, like for example, I am giving one example like Kahoot. I think you are familiar with the Kahoot. So, Kahoot is a tool which can be used to develop some game based assessment. In addition, you can develop some kind of simulation, you can develop some kind of animation. So, in summary, I can say that authoring tools, if you are very familiar with authoring tools, video tools and interactive content tools, so you can develop your e-content very easily. These are the 4 important emerging technologies in the 21st century: augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality and H5P. So, I am going to discuss, or I am going to give you a very brief idea about these technologies. These technologies are very powerful when you are teaching some kind of 3D concepts which are very abstract in nature. Now, augmented reality is basically adding a virtual element in the real environment. Basically, it combines the 3 important characteristics, I can say. Basically, it combines real environment with the virtual world. Second, it has the 3D visualization, and third, very important, is the real time interaction. So, when 3 combined together, so that is augmented reality. So, you can use any kind of smart devices for the augmented reality. Augmented reality is basically 2 types. One is the marker based, another one is the location based. Now, marker based means just like a QR code. If you are scanning any QR code, so same kind of in augmented, if you are scanning any kind of marker, so the virtual elements and the 3D simulation will be coming on your screen, and then you can touch and you can have the real time interaction with those elements. Now, in the virtual reality, basically it is creating a total fictional world or virtual world. There is no connection with the real environment. So, that is the basic difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. In the mixed reality is more real to, it is more close to the reality in nature, where you can play with the virtual elements. Now, H5P is basically open source framework based on JavaScript, where you can use the HTML5 scripts to create your interactive contents. So, these are the 4 I can say very important and emerging technologies which can help you to develop your 3D simulation, especially for the abstract concepts in science or in mathematics. It is very helpful and very powerful. Now, I am going to discuss that, I am going to give an example that how you can use some technology to develop your own content. Now, basically we know there are two types of, I think you are familiar with teaching, like traditional mode, that is the lecture based. Flipped classroom, we are very much aware that we are uploading the videos before the classroom, and the students are going through the videos, and then coming to the classroom there are discussion and question discussion or problem solving activity. But here I am proposing beyond flipped classroom model, because there are some research studies also saying that sometimes videos are still boring for the students. So, how you can make more interactive contents for the to enhance the flipped classroom model. So, now we propose the beyond flipped classroom teaching mode. Now, what is beyond flipped classroom teaching mode? Now, I think you are very familiar with this, some of you who are from the chemistry background, you are familiar with this crystal structure. So, usually we use this kind of teaching aid to teach some kind of real models like crystal structure models like simple cubic, body cubic, or body center cubic, or face center cubic. But in our case, what we have done, we have developed augmented reality application of crystal structure. So, here you can see that how this kind of simulation, I am going to show you one video also. Now, this is one video of augmented reality, how we have developed and we have used. Now, you can see here, so this is just like a marker base. Here we are providing one image and student is scanning the image, and then this kind of virtual element is coming which you can interact. So, when you are interacting with that, those different parts, if you want to know, you can do a lot of things. You can understand different parts, single seat units, all those kind of information. You can even move, rotate, all these functions are there, and these all are 3D simulations. Similarly, you can see here also different body center is there, you can know more about the body center, you need to know different what is the unit cell of a body center. So, this is one example I am showing that. Now, what we are doing here, we are saying that suppose this is very helpful when you are going for the blended learning course, or even for, you can say that for even if you are going for the flipped classroom model also in your school or in your university, that is very helpful. So, here we are saying that instead of videos you can develop this kind of simulation, and then you can upload this simulation in any kind of we have used Dropbox as cloud. You can use any kind of either you can use Google Drive or some OneDrive, there are many cloud sources are there, and you can upload this kind of APK developed using augmented reality, and then based on that student can download it, they can have some kind of self study about this, because this kind of contents are very interactive in nature and students will be very engaged and they will be very active learners when you are providing this kind of simulation type of content. And then in the classroom you can have the discussion, and you can have the assessment process also, even you can provide some kind of problem solving. So, today we discuss some of the tools which are very important as an e-content designer. Also we discuss some of the emerging technologies for 3D simulations, and how you can use these emerging technologies, whether you are going for the blended learning course, whether you are developing your e-content, whether you are going for your flipped classroom. In the next video, I am going to discuss some of the open educational resources or OER tools which you can use to develop your e-content. So, let us meet for the next video. Thank you very much.